Hey, this is Destiny checking in with today's Daily Diamond. Hey, family. As always, I would like to say welcome to anybody who is new and checking out my podcast. I thank you for the support. As always, make sure you guys check me out at Destinies_Diamonds on Instagram, and make sure you guys are following me on Facebook at Destinies Diamonds LLC. Make sure you are also checking out my website, www.destiniesdiamondsllc.com. I wanted to take some time today to say thank you to anybody who has joined me for Destinies Diamonds 10-day journal challenge. I really feel like we rocked it out, and I really enjoyed all of the feedback and all of the time that I spent with you ladies. I look forward to doing it with you in another month or so. So let's get into today's topic. So today's topic is something that I've talked about before, but I really want to bring it back because I think it's so super important to think about. Who are you? When we are being asked who we are, that is one of the hardest questions on the planet. I don't care who you are and where you are in your life. When someone's like, well, who are you? What do I need to know about you? They say a lot of times that you should have like this 2-minute elevator speech about yourself. And I swear that's like the hardest task on the planet, because most times we literally don't know who we are. And we don't know who we are because from one season or one experience to another, we are constantly transitioning and changing and shifting. And so I challenge a lot of you, and I question a lot of you, if you haven't, take the time to figure out who you are. Take the time to figure out who you are. Take the time to figure out what you want. Take the time to figure out what you need, because it's super duper important to know who you are and understand that who you are is a constantly changing thing. It's not always super duper consistent. It's not always a identical thing. And just because somebody knew you a year ago, it doesn't mean that they know you now. And so I really think that it's important, especially for those of us who are struggling with self-worth, struggling with our own identity, to sit down and figure out who the hell we are. And in figuring out who you are, figure out what you want. Figure out what you want, figure out what you need, figure out what you do well, what you don't do so well. Figure out your own faults, figure out your own shortcomings so that you can be accountable for self at all times. Quite often, as a teacher, I always would ask my high school students this question, because if you think back to your own life, or you think back just in general, when you were in high school, you really have no clue at all who you are. And it's super duper important to your identity. It's super duper important to your development. It's super duper important just to your own mental well-being. Like, I don't know who the hell I am, and I really got to figure that out. And I know as a woman, my mother used to always say, like, as women, we don't get comfortable until we're in our 30s, and we really don't become super secure of ourselves until we're damn near 40. And I used to never understand that, because I'm like, damn, we spend all this time from like 20 to 40 being a grown woman, and we don't know who we are. And quite honestly, I can say that as I age, I can tell that she was right. I think that especially with the influx of social media, the influx of the changing environment, the way that the pandemic has shifted our thought processes and our thinking, we have a really hard time determining and figuring out who we are. We have had a really rough time figuring out who we are, because things that matter to us once before, that shit don't matter now. And things that were important to us before, or things that are important to us now, might be something that is completely new and different for you. If you are somebody who's experienced a loss, you are a completely different person now that you've experienced that loss. And so discovering or figuring out who you are is completely different now, because who I was before that loss is not who I am right now, and who I am now is not necessarily who I'm going to be 6 months from now. And so I think that it's important, when we're talking about self-love, self-worth, all of those things, identity, that we spend some time, figuring out who the hell we are and who we want to become. I think it's like super duper important too. I am not like a vision board person, but if that is your way of doing things, take some time to make yourself a vision board and figure out who it is that you want to become. Who is it that you are now? And then who do you want to become? What is it about you that you need to, like I said earlier, what is it about you that you need to work on? What is it about you that you need to work on so that you can become that person that you want to be? If you've got some shortcomings, then sit down and do some work on self. Sit down and read some of those self-help books. Sit down and spend some time journaling so that you can really dig down deep into who you are, what you need, what you require, so that you can grow and you can prosper. I've been reading the book, The 4 Agreements, and I really fell in love with the way that the author kind of talked about how we have to make our agreements with ourselves. And it's not that they're necessarily easy, but we have to stick to our plan and kind of stick to our guns. And he talks about, and for me, it's like a self-worth and a self-help book. So make sure y'all check that out. But for me, one thing that he talked a lot about was like, we create heaven or hell right here on earth. And I talked about this a lot in my journals. my journal lives this week, but you create the heaven or hell that you live right here on earth. I don't necessarily believe in heaven or hell per se in the same way that those of you who are Christian do, because I'm living right now, I'm breathing right now, and the experiences that I have right now, I have to decide at one point that they are either in my control or they're completely out of my control. And so I have to create, like the author talked about, the heaven or the hell that I wanted. And in creating that heaven or the hell, being and understanding who I am and what I need to improve on, what I need to change, what I need to shift, what I do well, what my purpose is, all of that is super duper important to creating my heaven or creating my hell. And so wherever you are when you're getting this message, wherever you are in your own self-love journey, self-caring journey, I don't care if you're 15 or 50, like take some time to figure out, how do I want to be? How do I want to shift? How do I want to change? How do I want to ensure that the person that I become is somebody that I can be proud of? How do I want to make sure that I can create my own heaven or my own hell right here on this planet? And you can decide that you don't create hell, like you literally create a place of peace. I've done it for years, and people would always be like, you're so peaceful and you're so positive. Yes, because that shit is what matters to me the most. Like, I want people to know that I'm super duper positive and I'm super duper peaceful. Like, I have fought so hard for so long to create these moments of peace. And so as I sit like on my deck and I record this episode, it's a pure place of peace for me. I can hear the birds, I can hear the animals, it's quiet, and it's an opportunity for me to live in my own little bit of peace, my own little bitty world of peace. And so with all of that, finding out who you are, creating your world of heaven or hell, creating your peace and finding your purpose, figure out your why. All of those things are tied inextricably to who you are. If you don't know who you are, you don't know where you're going. I don't care if you are, like I said, 15 or 50. You've got to take the time to invest in self. You've got to take the time to check up on yourself, because you literally matter the most. I say that all the time, and I sometimes I wonder if my episodes get repetitive, but like, who are you and your matter, your worth, those things to me are paramount, because they are the keys that open other doors. I literally spend a lot of time and a lot of energy figuring out who I am and being flexible with myself and understanding that who I am, like I said earlier, who I am now is not who I'm going to be in 6 months. And in my world, I only prescribe to try to be a better, more peaceful, more purposeful individual, more directed individual, more praying individual. Like, those are things that are salient features to my own existence. And so for my own mental health, for my own personal growth, like, I gotta keep being peaceful, I gotta keep prospering, I gotta keep being better, so that I can continue to be the best destiny for destiny, so that I can continue to be the best mommy for the kids, and wife for the husband, and friend for the friends, and all of those things. And so as you listen to this episode today, I challenge you to go and sit down, take 20 minutes and figure out, start working on who the hell you are and who you want to become. I guarantee you this journey, this process will be therapeutic and useful for you. So as I get ready to sign out today, please make sure that you guys take some time to focus on you and figure out who you are. As always, make sure you guys are following me on Instagram at Destinies_Diamonds. Make sure you check out my website, www.destiniesdiamondsllc.com. And I'll see you guys soon. Have a good night, family.